Me and the youngest boy, we just got back from watching the new Spider-Man movie. The house is quiet, kicked back in a recliner. Thought it might be a good time to touch on a couple things that are, now that we kind of got the introductory videos out of the way. Thought it might be a good time to touch on, a more in-depth overview of change, what to expect in the beginning stages of change, and the elimination of noise from our lives. Our lives are just full of noise, and it really messes with the brain's ability to process information and really do what it's good at. So I'm gonna try to do a couple videos tonight, um, but we're gonna dive into just an overview of change. Uh, we've I've touched on change in a couple videos, but I want to go more in depth as to what you can expect, or feelings and emotions, and really change invokes almost every emotion, almost every feeling known to man. In the beginning, it's very chaotic, very depressing, uh, just very emotional overall. And change is one of those things, like anything. The more you do it, the better you get at it, the more efficient you get at it, and it just becomes easier. The signs become easier to see. Um, so in the beginning, when you first kind of start to make the change, it's very difficult to really get a handle on it, to really get a grasp on what you're looking for, direction, purpose, and you really struggle with who to listen to, who to change for, reasons for change, um, and as you continue down the path of change, those things become easier to see. Um, there's a lot of failure in the beginning of stages of change, if you're not used to change, if you haven't done a lot of change. um, it's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of frustration, because you may put a lot of work into something just to see that, as your perspective and mindset and attitude and philosophy change. You may put a lot of work into heading down one path, and that may not actually be the path you want to go. And it's okay to reset. It's okay to take a couple of steps back. There's a lot of two steps forward, one step back uh, kind of mindset in the early onslaught of change. And it's important to, yeah, you're going to learn to deal with frustration, because you'll be frustrated a lot, um, especially if you. Especially, I mean, if you're doing it right, you're gonna be frustrated. You're gonna want to try different things. You're gonna want to see if this works, or how this might work, or situations or environments may change. And like I said, perspective. You may see yourself as wanting to go one way, but those you want to keep close to you, those ones that you love, may want to see you go another way. And compromise in the correct sense is important with change, because you're never going to get exactly what you want on the first go around. You're going to have to learn to compromise with other people. You're going to have to learn to compromise with yourself. um, but as I talked in one of the other videos on attitude. As you learn to let things go, and as you learn to look at the more positive aspects of life, um, the adversity that you encounter when you change, it becomes much easier to accept. It becomes much easier to handle. The obstacles seem much smaller. um, and it will eventually get to the point where, um, you almost look forward to it. You almost see it as a challenge, as a positive challenge, as you know, you will grow and you will learn a lot, not only about yourself, but those who are around you as you start to change and as you start to evolve into the person that you want to see. And really, the journey of change, it usually starts for somebody else. It usually starts because somebody else didn't necessarily like who you have become, or where you were heading, and then as you continue down the path, or as you start to make the roadmap, you start to understand that the change really is for you. And the opinions of others, they matter less, because you start being happy with who you're becoming. So some of the naysayers, some of the negative opinions, some of the people who may not be happy with where you're heading, those tend to fade. You tend to give less weight to that, because you begin to be happy with where you're at and where you're heading. And you know, when you finally get that, most change starts with large chunks of your life. You know, as you really start to peel away the negative parts of your life, the parts of your life that you want to see more positive. Once you get a handle on the frustration, the aggravation, and the depression, once you get a handle on those things and you start to control them, you see monumental shifts in the right direction in major portions of your life. And once you get those large portions of your life out of the way, then you can kind of start focusing on some of the smaller things that didn't seem quite as important in the beginning. I find myself almost addicted to change. I really enjoy the challenge. I really enjoy growing and learning and just making myself a better person. So I'm always constantly, and I catch a lot of flack for overanalyzing my life. But I mean, I don't find anything wrong with that. I mean, to constantly be analyzing where you're at, constantly be analyzing how you constantly being able to analyze where you're at. I don't see myself ever stopping. I think that I will continue to do that for every day of my life. I enjoy it. I enjoy putting the pieces together. I enjoy the challenge of it. I enjoy just being able to see if all the work I've put in, the shifts in the four keys, you know, have I gotten it right? You know, can I apply it to more than just one piece of my life, or one scenario, or one environment or situation that I find myself in? And over the course of 4 or 5 years that I've been on this journey, it really allows me to look back and see if what I've done, if my goals and my plans really have worked out long term. You know, the short term plans are only maintainable if they work long term. And change is ever evolving. Change is constant work. It's constant. It is constant analyzing. And then, you know, the other important part of change is being able to maintain change. You know, it's easy to change and this is what I used to do before I really got into change. Is you know, I would see a part of my life that I needed to improve on, and I would make some very simple, subtle changes. It would last a few weeks or a couple months, and then I would go right back into who I used to be, because I would change. I guess you could say I would change the outside of me and never focus on the inside of me. So so that sustainability, that maintainability, if you don't never see that until you get into the long-term later stages of change, and being able to maintain that, being able to show those people who are around you that you have changed for the better, and you're not going back to whoever that person you used to be was. So change requires constant supervision, because if you are not constantly making sure that you are on that right path, you will backslide, and all that hard work will be for nothing. So that ability to keep who you want to be in focus, to be able to keep that person that you enjoy now, that person that you're proud of now, it takes work. It takes work to maintain that, to keep that, because if you don't work at it every day, you will find that all this work was for nothing. So, stay positive. Stay positive, as positive as you can. Take every small victory and make it a large victory. A victory is a victory, a win's a win. Don't undermine it. Don't underscore it. Don't shrink it down to nothing just because it's small. I mean, a victory is a victory. A win is a win. And if you get enough wins and enough victories, then you start winning the battles. And if you start winning the battles, you start winning the wars. And don't sell yourself short if you're winning. Don't sell yourself short if you're succeeding, because those little wins, those are what builds confidence. Change is about confidence. Change is about self-worth. If you're not happy with where you're going, and you're not confident, and you're always putting yourself down, then what you are working at will be temporary. So just keep fighting the good fight, and we'll see you on the next one.